A cold wind swept across the quiet suburban neighborhood as the clock struck 1:14 a.m. Most houses were dark, the streets empty, the world silent. But inside the 911 call center, a shrill emergency tone cut through the air. Dispatch operator Sarah lifted her headset, expecting another routine call, noise complaint. Suspicious vehicle, maybe a medical emergency, but what she heard froze her blood. A trembling, tiny voice whispered, "Hello, 911, my water broke." Sarah blinked twice, certain she misheard. The voice wasn't a grown woman. It wasn't even a teenager. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "how old are you?" I'm 9, the little girl replied. "And I'm scared, it hurts." "Please help me." Sarah's blood ran cold. Her fingers flew over her keyboard as she traced the call origin to an old, isolated house on the city's edge. "Honey, are you with anyone?" "Where are the adults?" "No one's here," the girl whispered. "Mom left yesterday. She told me to stay inside. She locked the door when she left." "Are you alone?" "Yes, in my stomach. It hurts." "Something's coming out." Sarah signaled an officer immediately. "Unit 12, respond. Possible child in labor. Girl claims 9 years old. Alone. Critical. Officer Ryan Daniels, 34. Heard the dispatch and dropped his coffee. En route," he replied, activating his lights and speeding through the quiet streets. He'd handled horrors before, abuse, neglect, violence. But a 9-year-old child in labor? He felt his stomach twist with dread. He pushed his cruiser harder, tires screeching around corners. When he arrived, the house was nearly collapsing. Broken windows, overgrown yard, a faint flicker of light inside. Daniels rushed to the door and pounded on it. "Police!" A weak voice whimpered from inside. I can't walk." Daniels kicked the door open. The smell hit him instantly. Mold, rot, old blood. His flashlight cut through the darkness as he followed the tiny cries. "Sweetheart, keep talking to me." "I'm here," the voice whimpered. He pushed through a narrow hallway and stepped into a bedroom. His breath caught in his throat. On a stained mattress lay a little girl, tiny frame trembling, clothes soaked, face pale and dripping with sweat. Her stomach was swollen beyond anything a child should endure. She looked no older than his own daughter. Her eyes met his, filled with terror. "Please help. It hurts." Daniels knelt beside her. His hands shook. "I'm here. You're safe." He radioed desperately. "Dispatch, immediate medical response. Child in active labor, severe distress." The girl panted through the pain. "My name is Lily." "Lily," he repeated softly. "I won't leave you." She fevered under his touch, shaking violently. He wrapped her in his jacket. When paramedics arrived, they froze at the sight. "Dear God," one whispered. They lifted her onto a stretcher, but she screamed in agony. Daniels held her hand tightly. "Look at me, Lily. Breathe. I'm right here." The ambulance sped off, and Daniels rode beside her as she moaned softly, eyes glued to him like he was her last lifeline. At the hospital, doctors rushed her into emergency care. Daniels stood outside the room, unable to move, unable to breathe. He heard her cries echo down the hall. A doctor finally emerged, looking exhausted and horrified. "Officer, she has severe internal injuries, infection, dehydration. This pregnancy is the result of repeated abuse." Daniels felt like someone ripped his heart out. "Will she survive?" "We're doing everything we can. But she's extremely fragile." Detectives began questioning him as the medical team worked. Hours passed, filled with tension and dread. Then came the worst discovery. While searching the house for evidence, detectives found a hidden basement. Inside were chains, blood-stained fabric, small clothing, and photos. Disturbing, undeniable proof of long-term trafficking and abuse. The mother hadn't just abandoned Lily, she had allowed monsters to hurt her. Daniels nearly broke down when he saw the evidence. Back at the hospital, he refused to leave. He waited for hours until a doctor approached him again. "She's awake." Daniels hurried to her room. Lily lay small and fragile in the hospital bed, tubes in her arms. When she heard him enter, she reached for him weakly. "You came back." "Of course," he whispered. "You're safe now. I thought I was going to die." "Not anymore." She hesitated. "My baby. Will he be okay?" A doctor answered gently. "He's premature but fighting." Days passed. Daniels visited every day. He brought her small gifts: a coloring book, warm socks, a soft teddy bear. She slowly came back to life, and the detectives kept uncovering more. The mother was connected to a trafficking ring. She had vanished, but the FBI was now searching for her. One morning, nurses wheeled a tiny incubator into Lily's room. "Your baby is stable," a nurse said. Lily gasped, crying softly as she reached out. Inside the incubator lay a tiny baby boy, fragile but alive. "Is he really mine?" "Yes," the nurse said gently. "He's yours." Lily pressed her hand against the glass. Daniels saw something change in her, a spark of hope. Where would she go? Who would care for her and her newborn baby? Daniels attended every social services meeting. He advocated for her. He refused to let her go back into the system alone. Finally, after long discussions, something unexpected happened. Daniels and his wife, who had struggled for years to have another child, agreed to foster Lily and her baby. When the social worker told her, Lily stared in disbelief. You want me?" Daniels knelt beside her. "You're part of our family now." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "And my baby?" "Both of you," he said softly. She threw her arms around him, crying into his shoulder. Weeks later, the doctor finally walked in with the greatest news Lily had heard. "Your baby boy is strong enough to leave the neonatal unit." Lily clapped her hands in joy. The nurse brought the baby out in a small carrier. The tiny boy was healthy, blinking up at the lights. Lily lifted him carefully. "We're going home," she whispered. Daniel stood beside her, pride swelling in his chest. As they walked out of the hospital, the night air wrapped around them. Lily held her baby close. She looked up at Daniels. "I called 911 because I didn't want to die alone." He placed a gentle hand on her back. "And you'll never be alone again." Her eyes softened. For the first time in her life, she felt what safety meant.